more racing action right after this. With over 25 years experience, Lucky Dog Detailing offers the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning, fully licensed and insured. Their number one goal is customer satisfaction and developing a friendship with each job. Call them at 704-401-6075 or visit them on the web at luckydogdetailing.com. Lucky Dog Detailing, the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning. This race brought to you in part by Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. Repair, design, and fabrication of plastic holding tanks and plastic form products. With over 50 years of combined experience working in plastic fabrication, Blue Gray has achieved a reputation of one of the foremost custom fabrication leaders in the industry. Find them on the web at bluegrayplasticfab.com or call 704-226-7024 and get a quote for your next project. That's Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. Now, back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the California Motor Speedway. My name is Nathan. I'm joined by Christian. Are you with me there, Christian?
I am here.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. And round number 10 of the Holio Cornhole Board Series from Auto Club Motor Speedway. Should be an interesting race tonight. We have 8 cars joining us, so a smaller field, but it's all good. We'll make the best of it. How are you tonight, Christian?
I'm doing great. Just excited to see what these Holio drivers can do for us and put on a show with this, really good track for these Holio cars.
That's for sure. It's definitely one of the tracks that I think has some of the best side-by-side racing and the ability to race with other people out there around you. So let's dive into it. We'll take a look here at Dave Lorfano as he's on track, starting his first lap of the night. So he makes his way turns 3 and 4, out of turn 4, back down to the start-finish line. He'll put up the first lap time of the night, and his lap will be a 41.25. Tyrone Yo crosses the line with a 41.85. Don Manning with a 41.48. Sean Purcell jumps to the top of the heap with a 41.24. Kyle Purcell completes his first lap with a 42.21. Larry Gines out of turn 4 and down to the start-finish line, looking to complete his first lap also, with a time clocked in for him at 41.51. Dave Hara completes his first lap and jumps up to third on the board. Dave Lorfano has completed his second lap, unfortunately unable to improve on his time. Don Manning now sits in third. And Kyle Purcell looking to best his lap time. Hopefully this time it'll be a little quicker for him as he crosses the start-finish line. And he jumps to the top on his second lap with a 41.24. So it looks like we have a pretty close race. A tie up top potentially for the pole. But it looks like it's giving it to the 16 of Kyle Purcell. So when we go to the third digit, we got Kyle Purcell with a 41.238. Sean Purcell with a 41.240. Dave Lorfano with a 41.253. Dave Hare in fourth with a 41.290. And Don Manning in fifth with a 41.324. So it looks like sorry, go ahead.
So some very competitive lap times. It looks like the top five's all within a tenth of each other. So that's just going to show these fans at home how close these drivers can be and how on top of each other this race can potentially be.
That's for sure. Like you said, very close lap times. Hopefully it turns into some good close racing here at Auto Club. Looks like everyone's done qualifying, so why don't we just step away and take a break, and we'll be back in one commercial message.
Back to more racing action right after this. With over 25 years experience, Lucky Dog Detailing offers the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning, fully licensed and insured. Their number one goal is customer satisfaction and developing a friendship with each job. Call them at 704-401-6075 or visit them on the web at luckydogdetailing.com. Lucky Dog Detailing, the best of the best in vehicle reconditioning. This race brought to you in part by Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. Repair, design, and fabrication of plastic holding tanks and plastic form products. With over 50 years of combined experience working in plastic fabrication, Blue Gray has achieved a reputation of one of the foremost custom fabrication leaders in the industry. Find them on the web at bluegrayplasticfab.com or call 704-226-7024 and get a quote for your next project. That's Blue Gray Plastic Fabrication. Now, back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care.
All right, and welcome back to the Auto Club Motor Speedway. Looks like the starting field is set, and we have an extra driver joining us at the tail end of login availability. So, Christian, if you want to take us through the starting lineup.
Sure thing. Starting on your pole is going to be Kyle Purcell in that number 16 Chevy. Starting second is his brother Sean in that 04 Ford Mustang. Starting in third is David Lorfano in that number 8 Toyota. Starting behind David Lorfano will be David Hare in that number 15 Chevy. Starting in fifth will be Don Manning in that number 92 Ford Mustang. Larry Garnes in sixth in that number 20. Joshua Hittrick in that number 5 will be starting. Number 7th. In 8th will be Tyrone Yo, and then number 2. And rounding out, the rest of the field will be Adam Angerstein, and then number 9 starting at the tail end of the field.
Thanks, Christian. So 9 cars will go 90 laps here from Auto Club Motor Speedway, 180 miles. Is the total distance, so we'll get set here for the pace lap as we head around this 2-mile track. Like we said before, one of the more drivable racetracks, I think, on iRacing. Definitely some multiple grooves that can be used. Look for the drivers to kind of run around the bottom or even up against the fence, and some will even try the treacherous middle. So lots of options out there. Obviously, not the smoothest racetrack on the surface either. Definitely some bumps going down the back straightaway that will upset the cars for sure. So we'll keep an eye on that, as well as I'm sure with the smaller fields like we've seen the past few weeks. So we'll have limited, if any, number of cautions, which plays out the fuel, pit strategy, tire strategy game like we've seen the past few weeks.
Yeah, definitely. And like as you said, Adam, this track is so wide that there's multiple grooves here. So you're going to see a bunch of cars being able to run different lines based on what they're most comfortable with. So it's going to be exciting to see what groove everybody wants to take.
That's very true. And as the pace car or truck drops down to the pits, we're going to see the green flag as they get ready to start. And there it is. Away we go. Off into turn number 1 from Auto Club Motor Speedway for the Hollywood 180. As they come out of turn 4 onto the back straightaway, it looks like Kyle Purcell has the edge over Dave Lafrano, who's picked up one spot, but looks like the 04 of Sean Purcell is able to battle back and get back by him onto the entry of turn number 3.
You can already see these different lanes opening up and people trying to use them. As you see, Sean right here really widening his entry, and right in the top, as you see Lafrano just trying to run on the bottom, trying to get past him.
Yeah, definitely can already see the multiple grooves working as we head off on the completion of lap number 1 and back down into turn number 1. At top 5 right now is Kyle Purcell over his brother Sean, Dave Lafrano, Dave Hara, and Don Manning. Rounding out the top 5, Larry Garnes, Adam Angerstein, Tyrone Yo, and Josh Hetrick round out the top 9 in the rest of the field. And I think Josh got into the wall a little bit last time through 3 and 4. So we'll see how much damage that's caused and if it slows him down too much or if he can keep that car headed forward. As it looks like we have a battle for the lead off of turn number 4.
It looks like Sean's going to be on the inside of his brother Kyle right now, and you saw him side drafting a little bit all the way through the tri-oval, trying to slow Kyle down as much as he can, as they're going to be side by side going into turn 1. Kyle should get the run off the top, but you're going to see a bunch of side drafting from Sean, trying to slow him down.
As there he goes, closes right back up to the side of his brother to try to take that air away, but can't get it done quite yet. But they are still side by side through turn 3 and 4. And right behind them, we have the battle of the Daves shaping up with Dave Lafrano leading Dave Hara as they come back down to the line to complete lap number 3. And we'll head back into 1 as all the top 7 still nose to tail as they head back into corner number 1. Sorry.
David Lafrano looking on the outside of Sean Purcell right there on that outside. He should get a run, and he's going to get side by side with Sean right here. As we said earlier, that top, you can run that top pretty easy, and you're going to get a big run off the corner just because you can get in the gas a little earlier. And but that will tear up your tires a little bit. So it's gonna be interesting to see what lines these drivers are going to take, and with these Holio cars, tire conservation always big here at almost any track you go to. So it's going to be interesting to see how these long runs are going to turn out.
That's for sure. I'm not exactly sure how far they can go on fuel. I didn't get a read on that. Unfortunately, this week was running a little behind, but we'll see. I guess we'll see what the pit strategy has to say and play out. But looks like Dave Lafrano is able to clear the 04 of Sean Purcell, and Dave Hara looks to be trying to get the same thing done down the back straightaway on the entry of turn number 3. So now up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you see Sean just dropping like a rock right now because that outside on those new tires is just so much better than the inside because you can just get such a run off the top, and it's you really can't block that. Because even if you try to go up and block them on exit, they can just cross you over and pass you on the bottom. So right now I think Sean's just trying to, conserve his tires, and then he's going to definitely be a backup there, battling for that lead sooner or later.
That's for sure, and even though he's dropped back to 4th, he's not out of it by any means, right? With everyone so close going into turn 3 right now, under about a half second between the top 5 right now as they come out of turn number 4.
I'm definitely surprised to see the kind of aggression out of this top 5. I'm not sure how much the tires wear here in these Holio cars, but from my experience, tire wear is pretty heavy on these cars in general anywhere you go. So I'm surprised to see these guys are really pushing as hard as they are right now, trying to make up spots and stuff. But maybe I figured with how bumpy this track is, you'd want to save your stuff a little bit and then maybe charge at the front at the end. As you see a battle for the lead.
Sure do. Up front, we see the 16 Akara Purcell under attack from Dave Lafano in the number 8. And again, Dave using that top side like he did to get past Kyle's brother earlier. And looks like he has an advantage going into turns 1. But the bottom is obviously the shorter way around. So Kyle able to make up a little ground. And let's see if the momentum of the 8 car carries him out with enough of space to get him in front of the 16 down the back straightaway. So far hasn't been able to clear him quite yet, but I think one more straightaway might be able to get it done.
He really sent it into that turn 3, and I think he's going to clear him in the turn 4. What a power move to take that lead from Kyle.
That's for sure. So it's new leader on the track, the 8 of Dave Lafano, as he comes around to complete 8 laps of the 90-lap distance here from Auto Club Motor Speedway. As they kind of see all the cars have kind of moved up to the top. They're in a kind of a train formation there to see to get the best grip or the best line around the top, and then they all kind of fanned out a little to try to go where someone else wasn't to make up some ground. But for the most part, still all running single file nose to tail down the straightaways, and then in the corner they kind of spread out a little bit to see if they can get by someone with the battle now looking to shape up between second and third, Kyle Purcell and Dave Hara.
Yeah, keep an eye on that number 45 car of Adam Angry's team. He's started in the back, didn't get a qualify, but he's already up to 5th place or battling for 5th place right now with Don Main. I think he's going to get him into this corner. We'll see if Don can get that run off the top, but he has him clear right now. I think he's on the charge of the front right now.
Definitely showed up a little late for the party, but never count Adam out. He's got always has some good speed. Maybe gets a little overzealous a couple times and puts himself in a spot that isn't the best, but he's always around and at the end of these races. So yeah, like you said, keep an eye on the 45 car out there right now, running in 5th place after starting in 9th.
I'm really interested to see, how like I said before, I don't know how 100% how the tire wear is, but I think Lofano and Hare have kind of pushed to get up to the front, and I'm interested to see how more they're willing to push, but also save tires at the same time.
For sure, it'll be interesting to see, but as I said before, the top 4 are all still within striking distance as the 04 of Sean Purcell looks to make a move back to the inside of the 15 of David Hare, as his brother in the 16 looks to make the same kind of move on Dave Lafano. But this time by Kyle Purcell will lead the lap and go back to the top of the leaderboard for at least this time around.
And Adam in 5th place right now. I was loving to see this. The top 4 just side by side battling really hard. Because it just makes it so much easier to catch up with the side drafting and everything else. It's just so much easier. Adam can sit back there, save a little bit of tires, and still catch up to these front 4.
That's definitely true, right? You always want to see, if you're the leader, you want to see the cars battling behind you. And if you're the car trying to catch up, you always want to see the leader battling with someone. Just slows them down that much. Just that little bit allows you to get some speed and gain some ground on them as they come back down to the line for number 13 complete, or 12 complete, sorry, and still side by side for the first 2 rows.
You saw Don Manning up there, battling for that top 5, but you saw him, fall off. I think, him and Larry Garnes are going in their usual conservation mode, and, we'll definitely see them towards the end. They're probably, going to have a little bit of a different pit strategy, trying to do something different like they always have, that that one was on a race last week at Indy, just being completely different from everybody else.
He sure did. And that time through 3 and 4, you saw Dave try to use the bottom to his advantage, and it wasn't all that successful. He's lost some ground now to Kyle and fallen back to the clutches of Sean Purcell. But right now, it's still Kyle Purcell out front over tight battle between his brother Sean and Dave, with Dave Hara in 4th and Angerstein still hanging on for a 5th place here in the early going as we work lap number 14.
Yeah, and Auto Club, especially when you're running that high side, it's kind of a rhythm track. You know, you kind of find a way of how to like run the top, and you've kind of figured out and you've gotten to a rhythm. But you know, once you've gotten to a rhythm, it's kind of hard to change your lane. So I think Lorfano right there, when he tried to go to the bottom, really kind of forgot how to do the bottom, lost a lot of time, as you see. And you saw him just go straight back up to the top where he was more comfortable. So, Auto Club really trick you with, how wide the track is and how many lanes you can take. But, once you get into a rhythm, it's really hard to, break that rhythm and try to change lines.
For sure, and just as you say that, the 45 of Angerstein makes a bold 3-wide move into turn number 3 and gets around the 15 of Dave Hara, who are riding on board with, you can see him up front now, the 45 of Angerstein stalking the number 8 of Dave Lorfano here on lap number 16, as they work down into turns number 1 and 2.
Kyle Purcell here with about a little under a second lead right now. I think this is the perfect time for him, kind of back up his pace just a little bit, perfect opportunity for him, save some tires right now. It looks like Sean's pulling away from David Lorfano right there, so, I think it's a perfect opportunity for these top two to kind of, if they need to, back up their pace a little bit, save some tires, and, it's definitely going to be a benefit in these longer runs if they can, save their stuff a little bit more than these guys battling for this last podium spot.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely some different aggression levels out there so far this week, and maybe we're seeing the 04 of Sean Purcell catch back up a little bit because he took it a little bit easier on the start of that run. Obviously, was getting passed by a few cars out there on the track early, but has made all those spots back up. So we'll see if that was enough to kind of save a little bit for the back end of the run. But as we head across the line and into turn 1 to start lap number 18, it's still Kyle Purcell over Sean Purcell, Dave Lorfano, Adam Angerstein, Dave Hara, Larry Garnes, Josh Hetrick, and Tyron Yo round out your top 8 with Don Manning, who's come down to the pit road. I'm not sure if he had any contact with the wall or anything, but he has made a pit stop here in the early going on lap number 16.
Yeah, I'm going back and watching down the replay right now. I don't think he hit the wall. It looks like it was purposeful, maybe a strategy call or something to go down the pits. I'm looking at the last couple laps and didn't hit the wall once. Just pulled it down the pit road. Maybe an issue in the sim, or maybe a strategy call.
Okay, very well then. We'll see how it plays out for him later on in the race. But as you were covering that, we had a pass on the track for 3rd position with Adam Angerstein now up into the top 3 after starting last on the field of the 9-car field. So definitely still moving forwards, and I think it's a pretty strong showing for him so far, considering he didn't have any practice and didn't do any qualifying with us tonight prior to the race.
And definitely very impressive by Adam to work his way up. Not surprised, Adam's a very talented driver, has one win in the Truckers Speed America Cup Series already, and then, has been pretty close to winning some of these Holio races as well.
For sure, scored the big win a few weeks back in the Cup Series, and has been in position, and the pit strategy just didn't kind of fall his way like it did for Don last week. So, we'll see how it plays out for him here, but he's in a good position now up into 3rd. with less cars in front of him than there was at the start of the race. So he's got to be happy at least with his first 20 laps of this one at Auto Club Speedway.
Definitely. You see, these top 5 basically caught back up to Kyle Purcell. We're going to have a battle between these two brothers in a lap or two. Like I said, I don't know if Kyle's saving his stuff or maybe, he used the stuff up trying to get away and now they've all caught back up. But you see the top 6, that's right here.
They sure are, with Larry Gons tag in the back in the 6th spot. Just over a second off of the lead, but second here is not very much. As looks like we had a bit of a contact, maybe a bumper or two there going into turn 3, but no harm, no fouls. Everyone still pointed the same direction, but Sean Purcell definitely seems like he's got the quicker car between him and his brother here as they come back around to complete lap number 21, start on 22, and we have a side-by-side battle into turn number 1.
Yeah, between these two brothers. These two brothers aren't afraid to, put the bumper to each other, as you've seen in Orlando Truck Series and in the Truckers Speed America Cup Series. They've definitely, beat each other up in a couple of these races, and unfortunately, because of that has kind of ruined some of their good runs. So definitely not afraid to do it. As you see, 3 wide for second right there. It looks like Adam Ingerstein is going to use that outside momentum. He's going to take second from Kyle right there.
He definitely got a nice draft off the 04 car down the back straightaway to jump into second spot. And that left the 16 of Kyle Purcell to battle it out with the 8 of Dave Lurfano a little farther back. But I think we got some good racing here. Look at all these cars. Don Manning, 1 lap down currently, but has fresher tires than these guys. So this kind of gives you an indication of how much tires mean to these Holio Cornhole board cars after running 23 laps. So as you can see, Don Mang just uses the bottom and cruises right on by, but obviously being down a lap and now getting back on the lead lap, it'll put him in a better spot than he was when he was a lap down. But tight battling going on as we can keep our eye on the battle for 3rd and 4th between the 16 and the 8. But just as I say that, it looks like we're going to have a battle for 1st here. But it's some exciting racing all the way around the track right now.
Yeah, Sean decided to run the bottom for that lap, and I think that's exactly what Adam wanted, because he's been running this top this whole race, and has made a bunch of time up. As you see, Adam's gonna easily take the lead from Sean right there. The outside momentum is way too good right there.
He sure does. Drives it right by him going into turn 3 down the back straightaway and then into 3. But Sean got a good run in the bottom of 4, but nothing comes of it as Adam will take a lead and pull out in front and open up a small gap as he completes lap number 24 of 90 here from Auto Club Speedway. And we have our, I guess it's our 4th different leader of the race so far, and we're only at the 25 lap mark. So lots of good battling going on out there. Lots of cars that are going to be competitive here right through the end of this race. It's not like the last couple races where we've kind of seen one car kind of pull away and kind of hold on to a bigger lead for a good portion of the race, where these guys are all nose to tail, tight formation, 3, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 wide like you mentioned earlier. So a lot of good racing here with Adam Angerstein leading the way right now in the 45 Kyle Petty lookalike car. Behind him, the 04 of Sean Purcell and the Pepsi Cherry Ford Mustang, and then Kyle Purcell and the bandmate Toyota being challenged on the low side by the 15 gray blue plastics Chevrolet of David Hera, and then Dave Lurfano in the 8 Toyota, Valvoline Toyota still there. And let's not count out Larry Garnes too soon in the number 20 Chevrolet also.
Yeah, what a battle for this 3rd spot right here. I think Larry's probably in the best spot to, pounce on this. I think he did save the best tires. He slowly caught this field as, these guys have battled for, so hard for these positions. And Larry has just, slowly reeled in these guys. I think if he gets the opportunity, he's going to pounce and take a couple of these spots away from these top 5.
Looks like the 16 got a little high, man. Made some contact with the outside wall because all three of the other cars just go right by. So maybe a little mistake there from Kyle. Not something we see often out of him, but he might. Oh no! Oh, everyone holds on. Larry into Dave, who saves it, and
Tyrone Yo gets into the lead of Anderstein, and it looks like Sean's going to take the lead from that. I don't know if there was a miscommunication, but I think Adam wanted Tyrone to run a different line. You see Adam wanting to run the top this whole race, and Tyrone was just there and just ran into the back of him and lost so much time because of that. Sean's going to get a little over a second lead just because of that one mistake.
All right, let's keep an eye on this battle, but we're going to go back and see if we can find a replay of Adam and Tyrone. 1 second here, folks. So as they come down the front straightaway, oh yeah, I think Adam just carried too much speed on corner exit and wasn't able to cut it back down under Tyrone. So I don't really think anyone's too much to blame. Just kind of one of those racing deals, but for sure definitely hurt Adam, as now he's dropped back to the third position, now falling in line behind Dave Lurfano and being challenged by Larry Garnes. So maybe some front end damage to that 45. Let's find here the rear chase camera. So it's a little bit of wrinkled nose on the front, probably enough to cause a little bit of an aero situation for these guys. But I think luckily we're probably pretty close or getting close to pit stops already. As we see both, as I say that, both Sean and his brother Kyle are on pit road now. Making their first pit stops of the race. So definitely time for pit stops here, and hopefully Adam can get that car repaired and get back the speed he had before his bit of a run-in with Tyrone. And the 5 car, that's Josh Hetrick. He's out there. Obviously he's pitted, so those are some fresh tires. That's some fresh tire speed you're seeing. So right now Adam Angerstein takes back over the lead in the 45 in front of Larry Garnes, the only 2 cars left on track not to pit. So we'll see if they come down pit road this time, but both Dave Lurfano and Tyrone Yo came down pit lane last time, so just 2 cars left on the track to pit.
Yeah, I think they ultimately that just kind of showed their cars are going to split this race into 2 stops and do 30 stints. As you see, it's like the 16 getting in the back of Adam Angerstein. Looks like Adam's trying to pit, and Kyle didn't really know he was going to slow him down, got in the back of him. So definitely probably going to have some front end damage for Kyle Persora. Probably not too happy about that.
Let's take a look here on the replay. So it looks like, yeah, Adam's for sure getting off the gas to get on pit road halfway through the corner, and the 16 unfortunately just wasn't aware, didn't get slowed down enough, and got into the back of him. But not ideal for Kyle. But Angerstein's made his pit stop now, so the only one left to pit is Larry Garnes in the 20. And let's quickly, let's see here. We'll jump on board the 16 and we'll take a look at, substantial front end damage on the Toyota Supra number 16 bandmade car of Kyle Purcell. So like you mentioned, probably not going to be too thrilled with the damage he got on that, but we'll see how it plays out here over the next couple of laps.
As you see, Larry Garnes go to the pit road and take his vehicle down there to get some fresh tires and fuel. I'm definitely worried about Kyle. You're flat out a lot of this track. You slow down a little bit to make it around these corners, but I was doing some practice earlier. Just running without damage. You're almost. And I don't know if it's a Ford thing because I run the Ford. It's Holio cars, but. Just running without damage after so many laps, you're like borderline overheating here. So hopefully Kyle's car isn't damaged enough where he's going to have to pay it because he might blow up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never thought of that, having too much damage where the car, I just thought the car would be a little slower because of the aero, but I guess you got to watch those temperatures too and make sure they don't climb too high. So after all the pit stops have cycled themselves out, looks like the leader will be the 92 of Don Manning, and he leads by about 5.5 seconds over the 04 of Sean Purcell, who's riding in second. Behind him is Dave Hara in the 15. Then joining the top 5 currently now at this point of the race is the 5 of Josh Hetrick, who kind of, like I said earlier, I think earlier in the race got up into the turn 3 and 4 fence and I think he just kind of hung on and tried to do some laps until he got pit stops where he could maybe get that car fixed up with either a fast repair or the minimal damage just buffed out. And then Dave Lorfano now is running in 5th with Kyle Purcell back in 6th. So obviously not where Kyle wants to be right now, but he's still in 6th place on the lead lap. He's about 9 seconds off the lead, so still in this one, not out of it completely, but right now Don Manning shows the way up front.
Yeah, interesting call for Hetrick. You know, he pitted on lap 24, so about 5 laps before the rest of the field does, and you know, it looks like the tire degradation isn't that big, so I think that might have been a smart play for him, you know, with the damage and stuff, hitting just a little bit earlier, not too much earlier, and getting that damage fixed, and now he's up there in, you know, 4th spot, sitting there waiting on something to happen.
Yeah, for sure. Pit stop strategy playing out a little bit to his advantage as he's gotten passed by a couple cars here in the last lap and a half or so, but still higher up on the standings than he was before, and maybe due in part also to a little bit of unfortunate luck for Kyle Purcell and Adam Angerstein, who both had damage, and Adam had a bit of a longer pit stop getting that damage fixed, it looks like. So the thing to keep your eye on, though, is Don Manning out front, pitted early, lap 16, he came down the pit road. And we can see the difference in tires right there on your screen between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Almost a second and a bit quicker is the 2nd place car than Don. So Don's lead is whittling away, that's for sure. And it looks like Kyle Purcell is back on pit road to possibly get that damage repaired.
Yeah, what a tough break for, you know, Kyle. Like I said, we can't ever really tell what happened, but I think it was just a miscommunication between the drivers. Maybe Kyle didn't know that Adam was trying to get down the pit road or something. But tough break for Kyle, you know. Had a fast car and going to have to go down there and get that damage fixed.
Obviously, yeah, not ideal. As we see a battle for the lead, that leaves Sean Purcell out there to try to get back in front, and he does. Takes the high line now away from Don Manning down into corner number 1 as the newer tires prevail that time for the 04 over the 92. And don't forget about Dave Hare out there now running in 2nd place in his number 15 Chevrolet. Still showing some strong lap times, and he pitted on lap 28, so right around the same time Sean did, so same strategy on those 2 cars, but definitely showing the way out front now is the 04 of Sean Purcell as he takes the lead back over.
And definitely Sean and David, you know, very strong cars this race, you know. And for Don, you know, the tire degradation, especially here, I think is, you know, when you're on older tires, I think it's going to be, you know, a lot more beneficial for like the newer tires, just because, you know, there's a lot more on throttle time than like, let's say like at an Indy or something like that, where Don went on a different pitch strategy. You're basically lifting you know, get the car set, and then you're back on the gas. But with like Indy, you really have to, you know, get on the brakes, get that car slowed down in the turn 3s, in the turn 1 and the turn 3, and you know, that can really help, you know, at least maintain a gap on older tires. But here, you know, with so much on throttle time, it's so much harder to keep track position on older tires.
Yeah, it definitely is, and we can see it playing out, obviously, with Don falling backwards a little bit because of that early pit stop, almost 15 laps earlier than most of the rest of these guys. So we'll see how it plays out. Like we said, we counted them out last week, and I'm not gonna do that this week. I'm gonna let the checker flag wave before I make my decision on how Don's pit strategy works this week. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Don's, has shown almost every week, besides, that Mid-Ohio race where, you kind of only had to do one thing. But besides that, he's shown that he's willing to do something different to try to put himself in a better position to win. So definitely not going to be counting him out this week.
That's for sure. As we work lap number 41 of 90, I think if it's all right with you, Christian, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
And forward.
Back to more racing action right after this. This race sponsored in part by Graham Collision, professional automotive collision repair specialist. Visit either of their Iowa locations in Waukee and Urbandale for your collision repair and vehicle body work. Like them on Facebook or visit grahamcollision.com. Graham Collision, unparalleled support, unbeatable assistance. For the best selection of quarter midget parts online, look no further than FMI Racing. FMI Racing, helping racing enthusiasts everywhere achieve new levels of performance and quality in their vehicles with parts and gear. Give them a call at 770-720-1003 or visit fmiracing.com. 2092 Harmony Drive, Canton, Georgia. FMI Racing. Now back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League.
Welcome back to the Auto Club Motor Speedway here for the Holio Cornhole Border Series, race number 10 of the 2022 season. Race number 2 in the playoffs as we've completed what's going to be 43 laps here from the Speedway in the Hollywood 180. 90 laps is our total distance, and Sean Purcell leads the way over Dave Hara, Dave Lafano, Larry Garnes, and Don Manning. So while we were gone there, Christian, looks like Dave has fallen back a little bit distance-wise to Sean, but still not out of it yet, as Sean has been turning some good laps here and growing his lead steadily.
Yeah, it looks like, Hera has fallen back, but it looks like Lafano just passed him, so I think he's trying to move forward right now. I think he pitted a little bit after Sean and Hera did, so he's got like a couple lap nearly tires, so I think he's trying to make his way back to the front.
Yeah, it looks like like you said, about 2 laps better tires, and obviously not a lot, but looks like it's going to be helpful here for a little while at least, and see if he can run down Sean Purcell in front of him. But the top 3 now are Purcell, Lafano, Hara, Garnes, and Manning, still on the early pit strategy, holding on to 5th place. And I would think he would be coming down pit road again soon for his second stop. Obviously, the first group ran anywhere from 28 to 32 laps, and Don was on pit road at 16, so 30 of that is 46 roughly. So we should see him here soon on pit road for his second stop.
Looks like Adam Angerstein had a little bit of a tough time, and he got into the wall. Looks like he's bringing that car down to the pit road, and a lot of right side damage to that number 45 car, unfortunately. Had such a fast car, and just one little mistake, and looks like he's going to have to come down and either use that fast repair or get this damage fixed.
Yeah, the race went from good to bad to even worse, unfortunately, for the 45 car of Angerstein. He was started at the back, made it all the way up to the front, got into Tyrone a little bit. That put him behind the 8 ball again, and then now more contact with the outside wall. Seam has to make a second unscheduled pit stop. And as we mentioned before, looks like Don is on pit road also for his second stop. So we'll see what how this plays out. But he's back to being 1 lap down. But with the fresh tires, I think he should be able to get that back, and shouldn't take long for him to get that back. But out front, it looks like Dave Lafano is closing the gap for sure on the 04 of Sean Purcell.
Yeah, definitely. You can see into these corners. I think Lufano can just drive it in a little bit harder than Sean is right now, and Sean's relying on that top line just to keep some sort of pace towards Lufano right now. It looks like Lufano can kind of run his car wherever he wants and drive in a little bit harder with those fresher tires. You can see him already down to 2/10 of a second behind.
For sure, you can definitely see the gap closing between the two cars as Josh Hetrix is on pit lane for his second stop of the race. Again, someone who pitted a little earlier, a little off sequence. See how that plays out for him, but we're going to keep our eye on the battle up front as the top two cars approach the two car of Tyrone Yo here on the exit of turn number 4. Hopefully it goes a little smoother for the leaders this time as they look to put him another lap down, and now they're nose to tail down the front straightaway, the top two that is.
Yeah, well, I'm interested to see where Tyrone's going to run right here, because I think Lufano wants the top right here, and that's exactly where Tyrone is. And yeah, that's going to help out Sean a little bit as Lufano has to check up just a little bit for Tyrone. Tyrone doing a good job to try to keep out of the way as best as he can, but the track's only so wide. But it looks like Lufano isn't going to get there. Sean's going to get that run off the corner, and but it's just a matter of time before Lufano gets around Sean. I mean, he's got the better tires. Looks like he's got the better car right now with those fresher tires.
So yeah, still got fresher tires like you mentioned, pitted a couple laps later, and he'll just looks like he might have to set him up again, but he's got the speed definitely over the 04 as looks to make a move to the high side out of turn 2, but nothing happening there as Sean kind of cuts the door. Now Dave cuts it back to the inside, going down the back straightaway and into turn 3. See if he has enough momentum to carry it by into the lead out of turn 4, back down to the start-finish line.
Sean's doing a really good job at, holding this as much as he can. I mean, that outside is so good when it comes to, trying to hold someone else up, because, that run off the top is just so much more powerful. And, I think, Lufano needs to look at this, and, he can't use up his tires trying to get past Sean, because then that's exactly what Sean wants right now, is for him, to use his shit up and not be able to get past them, and then Sean's just going to start pulling back away. But I think that Lufano's going to get him this corner.
Carried lots of momentum down there, and it looks like he's going to drift up mid-corner on the exit. A bit of an asphalt slide job to put it in front of the 04 and make Sean either turn it down or run into him, and Sean makes the wise decision of turning it down underneath Dave Lufano as they come back around across the line. Sean led the lap, but Dave's got the position now going into turn 1, you'd think, with the high side being him. As the last couple of laps, he's had the high side in turn 1 and 2. He just hasn't been able to carry close enough to carry the momentum off, and Sean's pinched the door closed, and looks like he's going to be able to stay beside him this time off the corner and get that big run like you always talk about down the back straightaway. So this should definitely help Dave in corner 3 and 4 this time, not having to run the bottom and kind of slide it up in front of Sean, but keep that momentum going all the way around the top and use that to hopefully get the lead back here at the start finish line as they come off of turn 4. It's still pretty close, but looks like Dave's going to use that momentum and get back to the front and top of the leaderboard and click off another lap here as we're on working lap 53 of 90.
Yeah, and that really shows to the fans at home really how much just a little bit of tire degradation is, Sean only pitted 2 laps before Lufano, and look how much faster Dave is right now compared to Sean. Or maybe Sean, has his own race pace that he's trying to set for himself, and, isn't going to try to push his car harder than he thinks he needs to. But, I mean, right now it seems like Lufano has a little bit quicker car. Sean's going to be able to stay with them with the draft, but I think Lufano has a little bit more quicker car at this time.
I did hear Sean say before I jumped over into the broadcast booth that he didn't really have enough time to run the top line and and get some laps in on the top line. So maybe that's hurting him here with with just watching practice earlier, we saw Dave and Sean's brother Kyle, who's dropped out of this race. Unfortunately, were running the higher line in practice, getting a feel for it, and then Sean just wasn't able to get up there with the time he had. So maybe that's affecting him now. But obviously, he's gonna learn as we go here, and then try not to let Dave get too far in front of him as we approach the second round of pit stops for these guys who pitted around lap 30 on the first stint. So as we're working lap 55, we're coming back up to more pit stops that should shuffle the deck a little more. But as of right now, the rundown is Dave Lorfano over Sean Purcell, Dave Hara in third, Larry Garnes in fourth, and Don Manning holding on in in fifth right now.
It looks like Larry Garnes is, starting to look at Hera right here as he's caught Hera. I think Hera. Maybe he put it a little bit too early, and he's starting to lose a lot of time just due to him wanting to get those tires a little bit fresher than everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. He pitted about two laps earlier than everyone else, and 4 or 5 ahead of Larry, because Larry was the last one to come down pit road around lap 32. So definitely Larry's tires are going to be stronger at this point than Dave's as he makes the pass on the inside, going down the back straightaway and into turn 3. But we'll see if that later pit stop helps Larry here try to catch up and close the gap to both Sean and Dave Lorfano. And as we say that, looks like Dave Hara makes the left-hand turn onto pit lane here for his second stop of the race.
And I'll give him about 33-ish laps he's going to have to run on the rest of the race, unless a caution would come out, which is very unlikely, with the amount of cars we have currently. So interesting strategy call. I mean, 33 laps is a long time here at Auto Club, with it being 2 miles long. So we'll see if short pitting is going to help him gain some more track position.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're definitely going to see him have to do some fuel saving, and he's completed his pit stop and rejoined the track. He's almost a full lap down, I believe, to the leader at this point, but not the worst case, because obviously the top 3 still for sure have to make another pit stop, as we can see Don Manning in the 92 working on getting his lap back from his early pit stop strategy. So these guys are making it interesting for the small field we have, keeping the racing close and exciting. But for right now, it's Dave Lorfano and Sean Purcell leading the way here on lap number 59 of this 90-lap affair.
And you see Don get past Lorfano to get his lap back. I'm interested to see when Don's next pit stop is. Or I mean, knowing Don, he's probably trying to save and might be able to make it to the end, but I doubt it. He's probably going to have to make another pit stop pretty soon. And then, like I said, with Don's strategy, I really don't have an idea of when he needs a pit or if he still needs to pit again. But good for him to go back and get his lap back and, at least keep himself in it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Back on the lead lap, running in 4th spot. But Dave Hare also has pitted, so he should get that spot once. I would think once Don makes a pit stop. Last pit stop for Don was lap 45, so I really don't think he'll be able to do 45 laps on a tank of gas. Considering these guys, the most we've seen so far is 32, and Dave Hare is looking to squeeze 33 out of it. So as we ride on board with Sean Purcell, he makes his second pit stop of the race as we have 30 laps to go here from Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, Sean perfectly splitting this race in the thirds, doing 30 lap stints. We'll see how that works out for him. Lorfano can probably stick it out for a couple more laps. Like I said, had a couple lap fresher tires, so I think that's going to even out. If Lofano wants to stay out for maybe an extra lap, but definitely with Sean pitting right now, it's going to force him to come down pretty soon.
Yeah, I think we might. Is he coming in? Yeah, it looks like he's coming in this time. I was gonna say, with the confidence of being able to run down Sean that last run after pitting a few laps later, you'd think maybe he'd stay out, but I think he's playing the safe side of this and coming down pit road and doing what Sean does and shadowing him to make sure that he doesn't get too far off sequence or too far behind him, right? You want to kind of keep up with the guy you were battling with and not lose any ground. And I think this is the right move, even though last time he ran a few laps longer and was able to close it up on him. I think this is probably the safer bet, though, to pit right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the smartest decision right now for Lofano, kind of the mirror Sean, I think these two are definitely the two best cars when it comes to pace-wise. Looks like Kara's pretty quick on the short run and then just kind of falls off towards the end. And I think it's, unless Hera gets caution pretty soon, I think it's going to be a disadvantage towards the end of this run with him having to stay out the longest on these tires. So I think it's probably the smartest for Lofano to kind of mirror Sean and then be there at the end to see if he can battle with Sean for this win.
Yeah, that's for sure. So after pit stop cycled out, just looking at the 04 and the 8 car, looks like Sean has about a 3/4 of a second lead after pit stops. So Dave definitely lost a bit of time staying out that extra lap. Obviously, I don't think it would have been as much as if he would have kept trying to stay out there. But Sean is now the guy in the driver's seat, right, as they are chasing down Don Manning, who's running in third. But again, way off schedule, or way off pit strategy-wise, schedule-wise to the rest of the field. So we'll see how that plays out. And then Dave Hara in front of him, who's completed his second stop and we think is going to be able to make it to the end. It's going to be pretty tight, but the older tires are probably going to, I think, hurt Dave in the long run, because right now he only has about a 2.5 second, 3 second lead, 4 second lead over Purcell and Lofano. So the new tires, I think, are gonna start eating up Dave shortly, and we'll see a battle for the lead here before too long.
Yeah, as you see Sean right now passing Don for the third spot. Like I said, Don on older tires, Sean and Lofano right now on fresh tires, so not going to be hard passes for either of them. So, interesting to see when Don decides to bring it down the pit road. But right now, he's going to stick it out as long as he can, I presume.
Yeah, I think he's obviously committed to a 3-stop strategy, where last week he, what did he make, 1 stop in that whole race where everyone else made 2. This week he's trying 3 and everyone else is doing 2. So a bit of a flip-flop on strategy, but doesn't surprise us. Nothing really surprises us with Don out there anymore, right? Just trying to make the best of it. Can't do what everyone else is doing. It's not going to win you races for the most part. So trying something different, I think, is important and crucial.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a classic Don right there, trying to do something out of the ordinary, trying to, do something different, to at least try to put himself into a position to be competitive. And, sometimes that strategy works out in his favor, sometimes it doesn't. So, I guess we'll see at the end when checkered flag waves whether his pitch strategy is going to pay off or not.
Yeah, only time will tell, like last week. Again, I said last week we counted him out, I think, far too early, and this week I'm not doing it, even though I'm not sure it's going to work out. But we'll let the race decide it for us here as Dave Hara comes back around to complete lap number 65, working on 66. His lead's down to 2.3 seconds, with Purcell and Lofano cutting into it by a quarter and almost half a second each. So definitely closing the gap with Dave being faster Lurfano, that is, Dave being faster than Kyle currently right now. So we'll see how this plays out. A little game of a cat and mouse again, right? I don't think Dave wants to pounce too early, but he wants to be there when the time's right to get by Purcell. Whether if Sean makes a bit of a mistake or Dave just uses what he learned from that last run to get by him, or if Sean learns something and is going to be able to hold off Dave a little longer. But looks like Don has made that final pit stop, heading down pit road now. So that'll see the strategy play out for Don. Obviously not what he's hoping for, but based on the cars out on the track and the running order, still going to come out of here with the top 5. So still a productive run for the 92 car. Unfortunately, not as productive as last week, but still a top 5 should result from this effort.
Yeah, definitely. I think in Lurfano's case right now, I think he's going to kind of sit back, try to stay in Sean's draft and let Sean do all the dirty work, use his tires up to get to Lurfano, to get to Hera, and he's going to pounce when these top 2 start battling out for this win. And then I think he's probably in the catbird seat to, take advantage of something if something would happen.
Yeah, for sure. Like we talked about before, right? If you're the leader, you want to see the cars behind you battling, and if you're the guy trying to catch the leader, you want to see him battling with something. And hopefully, Lurfano gets to see the ladder with Purcell and Hera going at it side by side, slowing each other down, and he can swoop on in there and score the pass for the victory maybe later on. But 21 laps to go. Obviously the lead is closing. We can see on the screen, but the 2 cars that are running second and third, still the fastest 2 cars on the track right now of this 3 groups, and Dave's still faster than Sean, but I think like you said, just trying to bide his time to close the gap on Sean while Sean closes the gap on Hera to try to get a good finish and hopefully the win at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. It could be a very good. It could be possible that Hera was saving his stuff now. A possibility with how fast these guys are going. Like, they caught him very quick right now. I don't know if maybe he made a little mistake seeing these guys interview Mayer, but he could have been saving his stuff, and now he's going to start to go. But we'll see how it goes as we see Sean going to the outside, and I think. Yeah, he's definitely going to clear Hera right now. I think, these tires are just too important. And Hera short pitting, I think, was maybe wanting a caution or something like that. And looks like that's not going to happen this race. So it looks like he's going to drop the third and be content with that most likely.
Yeah, it looks like the tire strategy and pitting early wasn't the winning strategy tonight, but still... 19 laps to go in this race, so we'll see if something happens up front to one of these 2 where Dave's able to catch back up. But definitely that time by Sean had the quickest lap of the 3 with a 42.52 to Dave's 42.67 to Hera's 43.44. So definitely the new tires are obviously faster, like we've been saying all race, and now I think the battle is on between the 04 and the 8 here over the last 18 and a half laps to see who can stand in victory lane and pick up the second win of the playoffs and advance into the championship round.
Yeah, definitely. I think you kind of pin it right on the nose right now. I think it's a cat and mouse game right now. I don't think Lurfano wants to pounce yet, but I think Sean, knowing that Lurfano isn't wanting to push the issue right now, maybe trying to back his times up a little bit, trying to save a little bit of tires, and get him there. As you see Lurfano, I think he's wanting to get past Sean right now. You see him all over the back end of Sean right now. Sean's gonna do all he can right now to keep him by, to keep Lurfano behind them.
Yeah, we definitely saw him changing lanes on the back straightaway, trying to break that draft that Lurfano's able to get here. Obviously, not a super speedway draft, but probably enough to give that second place car a boost down the straightaway, as Sean seems to be flashing in and out, but for the most part he's back on the track. So we'll switch to Dave so we don't lose him. But Yeah, obviously, this is going to be an intense battle here towards the end, and like I said, I wonder if Sean learned anything from that first battle with Dave there at the end of that second stint, where Dave kind of used the top to get around him. We'll see if if Sean goes up and protects that a little more and makes Dave go around him on the bottom. But we'll see here coming up shortly.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Lufano, Sean blinking out is actually probably a disadvantage for him because for one, with Sean blinking out, he's not getting that valuable draft on the straights, and for two, David has to be super, careful if he wants to try to pass Sean because of the blinking of like when he can pass, where he can pass. Because when Sean's blinked out, he has really no idea where Sean's gonna be, or where when he does appear, where he will be when he reappears.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a little trickier. We had a driver in the Tuesday Night Cup League who was having a bit of connection issues and was polite enough to kind of back off when he knew things weren't going well with the internet, and he had a strong finish. So hopefully this is just an intermittent thing for Sean, and we can finish these last 15 laps without any incident. But as I say that, he goes again. He's back. Look at that, just like that. But Dave's still working hard on his back bumper, trying to come up with a plan to get around him.
Yeah, and luckily for Lurfano, Sean's blinking isn't the worst. It's just he's blinking in and coming back out in a pretty predictable way. He's not riding on the fence. He's not doing flips in the air and stuff. Looks like a consistent blinking where he disappears and then reappears. He's not doing any acrobatics in the air, which would really scare probably Lurfano off for a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting when you're out there with another competitor whose car looks like they're riding two wheels on top of the wall down the back straightaway. But that's not the case here as we work with 14 laps to go. And let's take a look a little further back because Dave Hare still out there running in third with Larry Garnes trying to track him down for a podium position. He's about 7 seconds off the back bumper of Dave. But again, fresher tires by about 6 or 7 laps, so we'll see if Larry can close that gap here over the last 14 laps. He's been about half a second quicker than Dave Hare over the last handful of laps, so we'll see if he can continue to run him down. But again, the key battle's up front right now, and if I know Dave, I know that he's chomping at the bit to get a win in this series. He's been right there all year, had a couple of really good podium finishes, but when the win is this close, you want to capitalize on it as best as you can. And here with 13 laps to go, I'm sure he's going to start to try to make a move on Sean shortly.
Yeah, definitely. Dave is someone that knows how to run these cars really well, and has been so close to getting one of these ones under his belt, but not quite yet. And Sean's gonna do everything in his power. He's won 34 races now, and definitely knows what he's doing with here. So not an easy feat to get around Sean right here. And as you see, Sean, he's just trying to put all that dirty air on Lurfano's nose right now, running that top and trying to take the air away from Lurfano, doing everything in his power to keep him behind him.
Yeah, it's amazing how much the air really affects you as that second car in line, right? You don't think it does, but as soon as you get too close or you try to pull out a line, it definitely hit that wall of air and it slows you right down. So Dave has been a little bit faster than Sean, 3 out of the last 5 laps, but not fast enough to the point where he's been able to make a move. So obviously 10 laps, 11 laps to go. We'll just stick on the front here with these two as we continue to watch them battle here at Auto Club Speedway with, like I said, 11 laps to go, and maybe this is the start of the move to the top side. But like we saw before, right? Dave tried to make the move to the top, and then Sean slammed the door on the top, but didn't look like Sean got up in front of him this time, so looks like Dave definitely has an advantage going into turn 1 this time on the top.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, we've said this the last couple laps. Dave definitely, I think, has the quicker car. And when you give Dave the outside, I mean, he's gonna take advantage of that, and it looks like he's gonna clear Sean right here. So uh, we'll see how much Dave is gonna take off, and we'll see how much Sean can keep up with him.
Yeah, it's almost like Dave kind of snuck up there, right? In that last run in the middle segment of the race, Dave would get that run off of either turns 2 or 4, and Sean would be able to kind of close that door to stymie the run. But that time, Dave got the run coming out of the middle of turns 3 and 4 and was able to hold that top line, and Sean just wasn't able to get it up in front of him, which obviously we see the result of that is Dave starting to actually put a little distance, half a second already between him and Sean. So now that Dave's gone by him, it's just a matter of trying. Now he's in the driver's seat, right, and he's got to keep Sean behind him. But I think what we've seen is that Dave's had the faster car, so he should have a little bit of an easier time keeping him behind him. But as we see the lead continue to grow, and now it might just be a matter of Dave not making a mistake. We've seen Sean kind of walk into a few wins like that recently too, where he's been the second place car and the third place guy or the leader has got into the wall or made a mistake, right? That happened to Larry earlier this year, where Sean he had Sean beat on pit strategy and just got out in front of him, passed him, but then Larry got into the wall and Sean got back by him. But we'll see here, 8 laps to go. Hopefully we'll have a good finish, and hopefully Dave can hold on to this one and get his first win of the year, like I said, and catapult himself into the championship 4. So if you win a race in this round, you automatically move to the championship 4. So Don locked himself in last week, which now that I think about it, might be why he's trying such an odd fuel strategy to the race, right? He knows he's locked into the playoffs. Let's just try something different and come out here on Thursday for a couple more weeks and have some fun until we get back to it in the championship 4 and the 4 weeks at the end of the season where we crown a champion.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense for Don, try something different, he can come in here knowing that, he can kind of do whatever he wants, what he needs to do, and he's going to already have a spot in for him in that championship 4. So definitely makes sense for Don, even though he's going to be sitting a lap down, most likely. I don't think that he's going to have enough time to go back up and unlap himself, unfortunately, with only coming to 6 laps to go. He's already locked in the playoffs, so really doesn't need to worry about anything at this time.
That's it. So now that Dave's got out in front of Sean, we'll keep our eye on that, but we'll turn our attention back to Dave Hara and Larry Garns, who were Larry was running him down a little bit, but seems to have tapered off, and he's kind of leveled the gap, and they're running about the same lap times now. So Larry isn't getting any closer to Dave, unfortunately, but for the time being, Dave still leads Larry out there. But again, up front, Dave Lurfano now with 5 laps to go has about a 1.25 second lead over his closest competitor, Sean Purcell, and he continues to tick off better lap times here than the 04 car at this point. So, like I said, safe to say that it looks like Dave's gonna be able to secure this victory, but just got to keep it out of the fence and complete these last 4.5 laps, and he'll get it done.
And definitely, like you said, Dave just has to be a mistake free right now. Even if he needs to back up his pace, he has a better car right now. He should have these laps out, and he's gonna have a checkered flag waiting for him at the end. So, what a run for Lurfano though. Been up there basically all race. Been there competing for the lead. Unfortunately, we had a couple of shiners get involved in some incidents and ended up, parking the car with Kyle Purcell and Adam Ingerstein, I guess tearing up the car enough that they couldn't race anymore. So, but like we said before, Lurfano up there putting himself in the position basically all race to put himself in the position to win this race.
Yes, that's definitely for sure. As we come down to 3 laps to go here of a 90 scheduled distance in the Hollywood 180, with Dave Lurfano now leading by about a second and a half. over Sean Purcell, and he's still pumping the good lap times off, and Sean's just I think Sean has realized now that he let him get by, and now he's just riding around for second, unfortunately, but still not obviously not the finish the Purcell brother wants. Obviously, we always talk to them after the races, and they're happy with the top three, but they're also just as disappointed that they didn't get that win. And I think in this series, those two brothers are the two drivers with the most experience in these cars. I know they've competed in other leagues on a regular basis with the Xfinity style race cars, so they have lots of experience. And we have coming in, obviously they were the favorites for the year, and we didn't know really who was going to run for points this season, just with it being a new series and all. And obviously guys like Dave Hara and Dave Lurfano and Larry Garnes have joined us. Dave and Dave both missed a few races at the beginning of the year just with other commitments, but have been here every week trying to help us grow the series. And obviously 9 cars this week, not our highest of the year, but still a good turnout as the white flag is in the air. As let's take a ride along with the 8 car of Dave Hare on his last lap here at Auto Club Speedway. As through turns 3 and 4, Dave Hare can see the checkered flag now as he comes out of turn 4 and down to the checkered flag in the flagman's hand. Right there, Dave Lurfano will pick up his first win of the 2022 season over Sean Purcell, Dave Hare, and what looks to be Larry Garnes in the top 4, with Don Manning holding on for a top 5.
What an impressive win for Lurfano, you know. Sean, you know, gave it all he had, but, you know, when Lurfano got past him, what was it, with 7 to go, you know, Lurfano just kind of put the rackets on, just pulled out to a little under a 2-second lead just within 5 laps. So, great win for David, you know. He's had one coming for a while and finally can get one done.
For sure. Let's swing on over to the voice chat and grab Hillbilly and see if he can have a word with us. Hey Dave, it's Christian and Nathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. I'm seeing my Hillbilly Motorsports teammate over there spinning around in the grass and whatnot. So, congratulations to Lupano. Good to have a P3 here as well. Another P3 again this week. Get back on the podium. So we'll take it.
Yeah, definitely a great finish for you. You know, you've been putting these runs together these last couple of races, and like I said, nothing to cry about a P3. An impressive run, you know. Walk us through your race, you know, with the pit strategy and like how the cars ran with everything else.
I think we lost him.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Yeah. So at the beginning of the race, I tried to short pit just a little bit, and it really didn't work out because there were other guys dipped down even earlier than what I was going to do. So we stayed, I think, to lap. I think there was a caution flag there or something, but whatever the case was, the next run I ran it a little bit long, and it kind of put me behind, and then I got tangled. I think it was with the 45 car, maybe. I don't even remember who it was, but anyhow, that pushed me towards the back. So I thought, you know what, this last pit stop, I went ahead and pitted a little bit early. I think I had about a half lap of fuel left here, but was trying to get out in front of him, and it worked for a little while. But I was just a sitting duck once we got out there in the blue gray plastic fabrication Autism Speaks Chevy for Hillbilly Motorsports tonight.
All right, thanks very much, Dave. Have a good weekend. We'll see you on Sunday at the truck race.
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting this. We'll see you.
All right, we're going to go and find Sean Purcell and bring him in with us. Hey, Sean, it's Nathan and Christian in the booth. How are you tonight?
Oh, I'm all right.
I just before I pulled you in here, I said to Christian, I said, now we'll get Sean in here, and he won't be upset that he got a top 3, but he'll be just as upset that he didn't win. So you had a good car tonight, and you had control for most part of the race there, but Dave got by you there on the late run and was able to pull away. Was it just a matter of him pitting a little bit later and having fresher tires towards the end?
Not so much the pitting later, since it was just a lap later, but he was able to just kind of settle in behind me on that last run and didn't really have to work as hard because, if he had a slower corner, he could just sit in my draft, and I pushed myself a little too much. I was hoping he'd just pass me and I could do exactly what he did to me, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way. But still, second place, I'm just trying to get to the next round, and then I'll start winning again, I guess.
Yeah, P2 for you is always, for the way you've been running is, in your eyes could probably be a disappointment, but, with the way you're running, I have full confidence that you'll be able to race your way into the second round.
Yeah, thanks. I got a little used to winning there after those 3 in a row, and now I'm just, I guess, greedy.
It's never a bad thing to want to win that bad, but the good news is you get to try again on Sunday, just in a different vehicle. We'll see you out there in the trucks on Sunday night.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Good group of guys we had tonight. It's a bummer some of them had to leave early, but it was a good race as always. A lot of fun, especially in that first one. It was pretty intense. Just really enjoy these races and these cars, and I'll make sure to go back and enjoy the broadcast again.
Thanks, Sean. Have a good one.
Yep, you guys have a good night.
Okay, 2 down, 1 to go. That means get our winner in here next. Hey, Dave, it's Nathan and Christian in the booth. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. How are you guys?
We're good. Obviously, a better finishing position for you tonight than the last time we talked to you. I think last week you were second or third, and this week you come out on the winning end of the race here at Auto Club. Tell us about your race and how it played out for you.
Yeah, I like this track. These cars aren't necessarily my strong suit. Taken me most of the season just to get used to these cars, so they're finally starting to click a little bit. But yeah, I like this track. Fairly quick all night. Glad to finally get a win in this series. It's been a while, so yeah, it was good.
Yeah, walk us through all the lanes. It seemed like the outside was really the preferred line when it came to passing. Like the inside, you could kind of run it, but it seemed like if you really wanted to make up time, it was really ripping that wall.
Yeah, so early on in the first run, I figured I'd just give whatever the car would give me on that first run, see how it panned out. Could make time up on the top, but I found it really killed your tires if you try to use it early on. So second and third run, the third run there, I just ran behind. I think I just came out of pits behind Sean, so I was in no rush. I just figured I'd run behind him, save as much tires as I could, and wait till about 10 to go to try to pounce on him. So it looked like he was kind of wearing his stuff out just a little bit more than I was, so it all panned out. But yeah, the outside was the place to make a pass. You just couldn't do it too early on and too much. If you want to make a pass, make the pass and get down to kind of the middle or bottom. So that's how it all played out.
All right, perfect, Dave. Congrats on the first win. Good news is that it locks you into obviously the championship round. So you have a couple races where you can have some fun and come back out and join us, and then get down to business in a few weeks with the championship 4 races going. So again, congratulations, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you on Sunday night at the truck race.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, Christian, that pretty much wraps it up for the interviews. If you want to run us through the final results here on the screen, that would be good.
Yeah. Winning this race at Auto Club will be David Lufano in that number 8 car. Second place will be Sean Purcell in the 04, running for Sniper Motorsports. Third is David Hara in that 15 Chevy for Hillbilly Motorsports. Fourth place will be Larry Garnes in the number 20 Chevy running for Hillbilly Motorsports. Don Manning's going to round out your top 5 running for No Bucks Motorsports in that 92 Ford Mustang. Tyrone Rowe will be 6th. Joshua Hetrick will be 7th. Adam Engerstein 8th. And Kyle Purcell will round out the rest of the field in 9th place.
Thanks very much, Christian. Any closing thoughts or remarks as we complete race number 10 on the season?
I will say the beginning of the race was probably the most exciting race we've had in this last couple of weeks. We were only getting about 9 or 10 cars. It's a new series, a small series. That we're trying to grow slowly. But this was probably the closest racing we've had in a while when it came to these style of tracks with the 1.5 mile-ish Speedway track. So they definitely put on a show for the first half of the race with a lot of side-by-side battling, even 3 wide at sometimes. So definitely good on them for putting on a good show for the fans at home.
For sure. And as like you said, most exciting race we've had to start. Obviously, with some guys dropping out, didn't pan out for a complete race of side-by-side excitement, but we still had a good battle there through the halfway point and at the end between Lefano and Purcell, and I think we're just going to ratchet up the excitement a little more next week when we go to Bristol. But for Christian and I, we just want to say thanks for tuning in. You can find us back here next Thursday, same time, same channel, and don't forget this coming Sunday the trucks are live again and on the AARL network, and then next Tuesday the Cup Series will be back with you. So until next Thursday, thanks for joining us, and have a good evening.
Back to more racing action right after this. This race brought to you in part by Johnny Arnson Designs. Find jewelry creations for 3 generations. Appointments are recommended. You can call 517-669-1944. Once again, that's 517-669-1944. John E. Arnson Designs, 209 South Bridge Street, DeWitt, Michigan. John E. Arnson, creating and designing unique jewelry since 1957.
Is your vehicle looking a little tired? It's Resurrection Detail to the rescue. No job too large or small, Resurrection Detail is ready to put your vehicle back in the spotlight. Take advantage of Resurrection Detail's mobile service and get a service call done on your time. Call 540-894-6411 for estimates and appointments, or simply direct message them on Facebook. Resurrection Detail, bring your vehicle back from the dead.
Now back to trackside action with the ORR Lawn Care Truck Racing Series of the All-American Racing League.